let's get started. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about the collaboration pieces I've collected from Supreme over the years, specifically the outerwear. I think that's always the most interesting part of any collaboration Supreme does. They just tend to look cooler, they hold their value better, and it's just something that really kind of takes the best of Supreme with the best of whatever that collaborator has to offer. I also have a few pieces that I'll talk about that I don't have anymore, whether it was because of sizing issues or I just could make too much money off of it. I'll talk about those later. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about my history with Supreme. For me, I've been collecting since 2006. When I first moved to New York, I went to college and I had a list of stores I wanted to check out that I've always heard growing up on the West Coast. And when I moved out there, I had my list, and the only store I could find on that list that day was Supreme. Surprisingly, I did have a pretty positive retail experience, which wasn't always the case back then, especially at the New York store. But I don't want to say I felt embraced, but I just felt so drawn to the stuff that Supreme offered at the time. And now, almost 20 years later, I'm still collecting it. So let me show you the pieces I have. First off, probably the most recent addition to my collection. This one came out this past December. This is the Spyder collaboration fleece. And, the thing about something like this, when it has a spider web and it's red and blue, you're going to get asked a lot if it's a Spider-Man fleece. And while the color definitely reminds you of Spider-Man, the quality is pretty nice. And this is one that definitely sold out pretty quickly. There was a gray and black, a green and brown one, but by far, this was the coolest one. And I will take all the Spider-Man comparisons because I just really like this one. Probably one of my favorites, probably the oldest one currently in my collection. This is a collaboration that they did with the North Face. This one came out a few years ago, and it was part of the, Expedition series. But I just like the fact that, yeah, this is a collaboration at its finest. You take an archive piece from the collaborator, you add a bunch of design embellishments on it, and I just love the blue colorway. To me, this was the best colorway. They had red, black, olive, yellow, but just something about this blue one just always pops and looks amazing in photos, and it's the one that I get asked about the most, and by far the compliments it the most too. This to me was one of the standouts from last season. This is the collaboration that they did with True Religion. Now the cool thing about this, yes, it's a denim jacket, but what made it so special to me is that it's a Gore-Tex denim parka. So the fact that they took Supreme and True Religion, you're going to have a denim jacket, right? But then they made it a Gore-Tex shell. I thought that was what made it really interesting. And while it didn't sell out pretty quickly, I think that this is one that's going to be super popular over the next couple of years. This one was supposed to release last summer, but they delayed it and it came out in the fall. This is the collaboration Supreme did with Griffin outerwear. So Griffin is a design studio that's done work with other companies, but what they did with Supreme is they're known for this blade cut design. So the whole jacket has this very intricately and well done ghillie design to it. You can see that it has Supreme there at the bottom. And then of course, this is an anorak style jacket, so you have a nice thick patch there. And it's not one that I think got the recognition it deserved, but definitely an interesting piece, and I think it's pretty cool. Now, I know I'm going to butcher the name, but this is a collaboration Supreme did with Schott leather jackets and The Crow. Now, if you know who Joni Mitchell is, it kind of looks like her. But no, this is a painting that was done of The Crow, specifically the comic book series. And what I love so much about this jacket, you have your typical classic Shop Perfecto jacket. No epaulets on this one, which I don't like, so I love that they did that. But they just took this jacket and added something that is going to separate and be like, yeah, you either like this or you don't. And the last piece I want to highlight for my collaboration collection is the one that Supreme did with Barbour. So this was the first time Supreme has collaborated with them. And of course, they're going to give you that classic wax cotton jacket. Now, the thing is that if you're going to pick a collaboration piece with a well-known brand, in my opinion, you got to go with the crazy color. Now, this thing has been kind of love or hate for the people that I know. Some people think like, why would you pick the ugliest color known to man? But other people just, they get it. They know why I would pick the wacky colorway, because other colors was a black and an orange. But for me, if you're gonna get something, you might as well go all out, right? So those are the current pieces that I want to highlight in my collection. Now, looking back over the years, there's one jacket that I resold that I really wish I could go back in time and get. It was the second collaboration Supreme did with the North Face. It came out in, I want to say 2008, 2009, but it was the one with the library. And at the time, I bought it for like 400-ish, and I sold it a year later used for 800, which at the time was an amazing come up. But now if you look at the resale value, it's close to like $10,000. And if I knew what I knew now, it's not about the money. I just missed that jacket because I know at those prices I'll never have a chance to buy it again. But yeah, that's my outerwear collection. It's one that I think is really curated and it really fits my style. A lot of pieces that I wouldn't let go. And let me know your guys' thoughts about it. Peace.